But yeah, cool. First of all, I'll start by saying thanks so much for both you guys, Rana, for organizing it. I mean, this is such a random collection of three people, but I love that. I love that. That's sort of what our little industry does sometimes. You know, bring people together in different ways. So yeah, thanks a lot for Hadi and Rana for both coming on.
For having us.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
No worries. Well, okay, I think that's probably a good place to start. First of all, how do you guys know each other? Start with you, Hadi.
I used to go live, I mean, about a couple of months ago, and Rana was a frequent chatter. And then she connected via Instagram, and then one day she said, "Oh, you want to be on this podcast?" And yeah, I said, okay. That's
cool.
where
So
to start.
really, yeah.
With all the silly questions about likeness and all.
Well, I mean, he's a pretty good person to, to pick his brain about that sort of stuff. But yeah, I mean, getting straight into it, the work that you do, obviously, Hadi, is amazing as far as digi-double work. But was that always something that you wanted to do? Did you start in a different avenue of 3D before you started there?
Yeah, I mean, I used to do all sorts of stuff, from making websites, designing logos, designing applications, anything, visual related, just to make money. And I also used to do video editing and making music videos. I used to direct music videos, not for big singers, just singers that just wanted to start their career. And I was making a clip for one of my clients, and then I decided to, I don't know why, maybe it was her suggestion or it was my own creativity, I decided to include a 3D, just, a couple of seconds of 3D visualization of her face in the music video and do some cool motion graphics and etc. I mean, I didn't have any idea how to do it. It was just something that conjured up my head. So I did some research and I came upon this application. I think it was called FaceGen. It's just a very basic application that you give it some images, some front pictures and some from profile and different angles, and it just gives you this basic projection of that 3D image. But it wasn't accurate at all, but I mean, it served the purpose of what I wanted to do. It raised my expectations and also my curiosity because I wanted to raise up the quality. And then I was using Element 3D in After Effects at the time, which is just a basic plugin that you can import 3D objects into After Effects and include them in your video. I mean, through that, I learned Cinema 4D, and then I learned more about 3D, how to make a more accurate 3D representation of a person, a 3D first or a 3D likeness, as we all know.
Yeah.
And then, Cinema 4D was my first, basically 3D package or 3D software that I learned. And then I learned about modeling, I learned about UV editing, and then ZBrush, and then I transitioned to Maya, and then the rest.
How long has it been? Like, how long's the journey been?
I started, my first time using Cinema 4D, I think it was 2017, but it wasn't serious. I think my first serious project or first serious 3D likeness was in 2018.
Yeah, wow. Still, that's not that long ago. 7 years ago.
Yeah.
You've come a really long way in a short amount of time. Rana, I guess the same as you. How did you sort of land in 3D, and what did you do originally?
So my journey started from the back in 2011. I was doing actually my MBA. I was an MBA student and all, and as a freelancer, just quick monies here and there. I was doing Photoshop edits and all. And somehow I met my husband, and he said, "Wow, you can draw, and maybe do you want some job and all? Maybe you can make some storyboards for me." And then I did a storyboard for him. Then after storyboard, as our relationship grew, the storyboard grew to the animatic storyboard. Then it grew to the animation. 2D animation. And then I got stuck with the frame as usual. This the 180-degree, the camera that rotates from front view to the back view and all. So I was like, how can I do this like super quickly without any I wanted to do it perfect. Like I wanted to make it sure that it's like perfect this shot and all. Yeah, so I used Blender. Yeah, that was actually second time I opened Blender and all. First time you just open it and see the buttons, and then you get overwhelmed and all. Then you leave it for later and all. So after like 4 years later, I opened the Blender again, and then I did that scene. And after that, absolutely loved the 3D, and I never went back to 2D again. Like never. Yeah.
I think that must be something all three of us have in common. You know, you start 3D and you just get that itch, and you never really put it back down. Hey.
Yeah.
I mean, back to you, Hadi. The I'm only guessing purely from the DigiDouble work that I've done, like in studios that I've worked in. Is it predominantly VFX work that you do, or where does a lot of your work come from, and where does it go out to? Like, do you still find yourself doing work for games, or is it predominantly VFX work?
No, I've never worked with a game studio, even though I'm familiar with the workflow, and I'm really interested to have the chance to maybe at least once have this collaboration with the game studio, but I've never had the chance. But yeah, I work with Platige on the cinematic trailer for one of the Call of Duty games. It was a expansion for the game, and I was responsible for the main character, which was Richtofen, if I'm not pronouncing it wrong. And I made a stylized character of the game asset into a more believable human likeness. And another VFX job that I had recently was with a South Korean studio, Mortarhead. It's the name of the studio. And we worked on, it was a 3D model of a baby, which was I know, but what was the scene exactly? I think it was some violent scene that they couldn't use a real baby, so I did this likeness of the baby. And then it was for Sweet Home Season 3. But other than that, I mean, most of my clients have been for just, they ask for a 3D likeness of a character, of a celebrity, or of some unknown person. But I mean, I sign NDA with them. They don't exactly tell me what the purpose of this likeness is or what project they're going to use it for. So I mean, those are the two most those are the ones that I'm basically allowed to share.
Yeah, wow, that's I was always curious about the celebrity likeness stuff, about like whether it was purely like a passion thing, like just to do it for a portfolio, or it's like if they're actually people that are I guess it's still a mystery, but it's
no, I mean, most of the likenesses that I've shared on my Instagram and social media, they're just personal works. It's just something I do because I love working on likenesses of different celebrities, and most of them are musicians or actors that I'm a fan of. So I just wanna challenge myself and see if I can capture the likeness as close as I can.
Yeah, awesome, man. That's I was actually going to ask that. That's really cool. So, I mean, again, good segue, but Rana, your latest piece, the Trump, I'm guessing, did you lean on Hadi at all for any advice when it came to doing that? Because I'm guessing that's probably one of your only likeness pieces that you've done?
Yes, currently it is. And it's my very first one. And of course, with the help of Hadi and yours also help, I could manage to finish it and all. It was really hard. I don't know how you do it, Hadi, honestly. It's like so many things. Like yes, it is face, it's anatomy, everything can be fine and all, but the thing is that your eyes get used to the character, you know, and then you kind of become the like face blind and all, like you don't see that how exactly, and then it turns into something like chaotic face, like you yeah. So I just followed the advice of Hadi, just take some time, don't look at it for a while and all, and then come back and all. I even did rotate it in, flipped it in horizontally and vertically, so to see that how is it upside down and all this, you know, just to look at the forms and also just to finish it. Yeah, and about your advice about the tattoos, that I think it was, I always wanted to create a character with tattoos and all, or just the skin with tattoos. I saw the many artists did that and all, but I wanted to do it the way that it looks like really like a skin, and the worn out tattoo, you know, the one that aged and all, not the freshly made, like very low contrast and all, kind of blended with the skin and all. So I did that with you shared the live video with the Raf Grazetti's workshop, I think. Yeah, it was. And
the one that I did.
Cool character. Yeah, that cool character. And I was like, wow, I love I want these tattoos of my character and all. So yeah. So I did some like artistic this lightings and all. It was inspired by the very classic photographies, paintings and all, and I really like enjoyed the process. But I didn't know what it would look like at the end and all, and it turned out like this. Like, some people say that it looks like AI, so I don't know why. Yeah.
We'll touch on AI. I actually have a couple of notes in there. I want to ask both you guys about it, but I think these days that's somewhat of a, you know, must be somewhat of a compliment, because AI is getting pretty good. So
I don't know how to respond to that. Yeah,
exactly. Are you going to continue to do likeness stuff, or did you sort of like Hadi? Is it something that you're like, this is my passion now, like I'm going to actually go down this road? Or
I think so. It was fun. It's really rewarding, the process, and it really teaches you a lot, you know. It's a very good like skill, I think.
Yeah, nice. Hadi, something that a lot of artists do that I don't, it's a tough skill to multitask. I think that when people teach, I think teaching is a huge thing that any artist, that if they can, should give back in a certain sense. And I think it's amazing when people do it, especially someone like yourself. I saw your YouTube channel and the courses that you do. I mean, I'm gonna dive deep into those, but is teaching something that you always wanted to do, or did you find that being a teacher after learning 3D, like was it more something that you learned along the process of learning 3D?
I never had the chance to have any academic background. I never went to college for related to what I do. I mean, I studied civil engineering, which is completely unrelated to art in general. Everything that I learned about 3D likeness and any basic technique that I learned from 3D was just from tutorials on YouTube or some paid courses. I think that it's just making this community healthy to share your knowledge, because if you don't, then it's just gonna stop at some point. At the same time, it also helps me, because when I make a tutorial, I'm constantly learning new things. I mean, I've had cases when I make this, when I went live, and I was struggling with at some point in my workflow, and then someone in the chat recommended something that it was completely new to me. Or maybe they suggested a plugin or suggested some tool in Maya or some completely new approach, which was really helpful. It also helps me to to expand my platform, to reach new people. I mean, I've had so many new followers on my artist station on Instagram that found me on YouTube. So I think making tutorials, it's a win-win situation.
Yeah, absolutely. From the small part that I have done myself, it's just for me, like the reason that I started, I'm sure like you might be able to find something in this as well, is that it was something that I had complete creative control over. Like it was, my channel was, I could reach out to people that I wanted the way that I wanted to. I could collaborate with the people that I wanted to. It was completely just like a sandbox of, which is sort of how I like doing my personal work and how I like doing everything when it comes to 3D stuff, is that, you sort of call the shots as well. So I think the almost the selfish side of it as well is that it scratches a creative itch in you that no one can stop. Like if you're at your office job or you're working in a studio or something, you're usually working for somebody else. It's like in this world, it's like you're your own boss, you can do your own thing, and it's purely just for the fun and enjoyment of learning and learning with other people as well, which I really love. But yeah, do you have any interest in teaching in the future, Rana?
I don't know. I don't know, really. Maybe if somebody will find it useful and all, I would love to share my skills and all, or my way I do it and all. That's absolutely yes. I just don't think that anybody needs it. It's like always like this 100 questions of who would need that? Why would you even start? Like, is it useful? Is it something useful? Like it's this like overthinking and like perfectionism and all this, like it just that's the only thing that stops me. But but I would love to share my knowledge.
Well, I think it's even like what Hadi was just saying. He did a live stream and someone wrote something in a chat, and it's and he learned something straight. Like that's the beauty of our industry, I think, is that it's just like anybody and everybody has something to share. And when I was doing my looking up and doing some questions and stuff before this, I can't believe you started in 2018. That's insane. 2017.
Yeah, I mean, before that, I wasn't completely unfamiliar. I had some experience with anatomy, human anatomy. I used to do not 3D, but I used to draw likenesses, and I was also a digital painter for a couple of years. So it's not like that I was completely clued out of everything and I just started from zero. No, I had some knowledge. Everything that I knew for human anatomy, for likeness and all those rules, they apply the same in 3D as well. So they helped a lot.
I wanted to ask that because I was like, man, there has to be something else there, because even from, I've been doing 3D for over 10 years, 3D specifically, but anatomy in itself and an understanding of how forms work and all that kind of stuff. I feel like that's a lifelong journey of, almost of being able to understand that stuff. And it's almost a completely different skill set. Like it is a completely different skill set to 3D,
Yeah, definitely 3D helped me to learn a lot more about anatomy. And now compared to before 2017, when I started working on 3D, I knew about anatomy, but it wasn't completely intuitive. 3D made it so much more intuitive and so much more easier to understand and to follow what I was doing. When I started 3D, even though I knew how a human face worked, I knew how the anatomical rules, it wasn't something it wasn't tangible or intuitive from the start. I had to, spend some process to know what I was even doing, to just understand that, okay, I have to do this to make for example, jawline to make more organic, or how to learn to make the asymmetrical features on a face. So it goes both ways. My 2D background helped, and also I learned a lot more in 3D.
Rana, good to see you back.
Sorry for interruption. Yeah.
I did a quick search of Sandor Viz before we came on. Is that your company? Is that something that you started?
No. Yeah, we started.
So what does Sandor Viz do?
Sandor Viz is the company that I founded in 2017. Yeah, 2017. So it was it's just a 3D studio, which we had our own clients and all. We practically did lots of games, and we worked for Fortune 500 and all. And So it's a different part of the 3D career, you know. First, I was working in Iran as an artist for the 3D visualization, the architecture visualization, and then
That's
after
what I
that,
used to do.
yeah, I think everybody
Yeah.
started with that, you know.
Yeah, I did it for 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, nice. 10 years.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. It didn't last me. I mean, I didn't last for for that long and all. I wanted to
Yeah.
do something like, this architectural props turned into you do that visualization. It's like kind of cinematic and all. So I always wanted to switch to the cinematics and all. And as we opened the company and in Slovakia, it was that one brought a lot of experience in product visualization for the promotions and even music video. Yeah, at some point. Yeah, and that one also was not that famous artist, but it taught me a lot. And then it turned to the games, like game characters, animation. That's where I really dived into this technicals of the animations, all the different softwares and all. Yeah, and then I switched to the Unreal Engine for the faster render, and you just that was how it was.
Is it? Do you use Unreal Engine in your workflow, Hadi, or is it more offline rendering?
I'm actually just learning Unreal Engine. I found some tutorials on how to make a character that I made in Maya, and I want to bridge it to Unreal to convert it to a metahuman. But it's completely new to me. I don't have any background experience with it.
It's a process.
Yeah, it's like a different language. You just once you crack the code, and then everything will be clear for you. Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's different. The real-time render is different compared to the Arnold render, the quality-wise, but it has its own benefits too. You know, that the fast render, to being able to see everything real time.
I've seen some really good results, like DigiDouble results from some of the heavy hitters in that space. I've seen some of their work using Unreal as well, and it's crazy how good results you can get out of Unreal. Like I use Unreal every day for work. Like I love working in Unreal. How far it's come in the last few years, it's never been a better time to be jumping into it. Especially with your kind of work. This is a bit of more of a vague question, Hadi, but say for people want to get into DigiDouble kind of work, what's the sort of the biggest tips or things that you would tell someone that's starting off?
I would say don't start with likeness. Just start with generic faces, and maybe even start from cleaning 3D scans. There are some amazing quality 3D scans that you can find for free, and then you can start there, because when you work with a 3D scan, the anatomy of the head, it becomes so much more intuitive, and you get familiar with all the perspective and dimensions and everything. And then you can start working on your characters. And then after that, after you're more comfortable with all the anatomy and all the different basics of 3D, then you can start working on likenesses, on your favorite celebrities, and start from if you want to start on likeness, either start from some relative or yourself, or someone you can find high quality references from different angles, or find some celebrity, like some modern celebrity, that enough reference photos that you can find, because it's really important. If you don't have enough references, you have so many blind spots that it just then you develop this counterintuitive rules in your head about anatomy, because if you don't know, for example, celebrity heads looks like from a different angle, then you just make up some perspectives that are wrong, and then it becomes kind of I know what a word for it is. It's like something that you learn wrong, and then it gets harder to correct it in your head. because that's why I'm insisting on, whenever someone asks, that I start from 3D scans and then compare your work to those scans, that you can make sure that you're learning anatomy the right way.
Yeah, wow, it's a great tip. We've seen what Hadi's good at and what he likes to be doing. Rana, is there a dream job in your future of something that you, when you close your eyes, that's exactly what you want to be working on?
Everything.
Everything.
Like,
that's a dream. Yeah.
Like games, like cinematics, like movies, VFX. I love it. Like I love every aspect of like CGI, you know, like it's amazing. I don't know, like I cannot pick one. Yeah.
I feel like you go to Hadi's Instagram, it's like, okay, I know exactly what this guy's into. Like he is, wizard at this stuff. But I mean, the generalist path, like it's not wanting to do a bit of everything. I think is, the reason that we get into this type of stuff to begin with. So I think, honing into that is important. We sort of touched on AI before, just more of a closing out thing. I'm usually, I don't really like talking about AI just purely because we're artists and we do our thing, but we can't put our heads in the sand, I guess. So, and I do respect and value the opinions of fellow 3D artists in the industry. So Hadi, I'll start with you. How do you think that AI is going to affect our industry in any way? I know it's really hard to put it in a box sort of thing, but there's so many different ways that I've seen it currently over the last couple of years. But how do you think, in the 3, 4, 5 years in the future, how AI is going to be affecting visual effects in general?
I think AI is like there's so much hype around it. And I mean, if you're looking from outside, if you're someone who doesn't have any expertise in this field, then it's easy to see these demos from these brands and then think to yourself that, wow, this is amazing. I mean, what do you need someone to hire for if you can just click a button and it does everything for you? But I mean, I've tried so many AI, different chatbots and tools, and when you use it, after you use it, and after you try to, incorporate some of those tools into your workflow, which I genuinely try to do, and then you realize that it's so hollow. It's like something that for someone who has some experience, you don't have to be like a veteran to understand, but if you have just a couple of years of industry experience and you know the basics, when you use these tools, it lacks so many details. I mean, I tried ChatGPT I had some scripts that I wrote for my personal workflow for Maya, and then I used ChatGPT because there were some lines that I wasn't sure, so I wanted to make it better or improve those scripts. And then it immediately answers when you give it the script, but then it gives you some gibberish script that you can't even use. It's completely useless. If you don't know coding, if you don't know programming, it's completely useless. You have to know what you're doing if you want to use these tools. And at the same time, I mean, right now it's not really something that's production ready, but I'm not sure what it's going to look like in a few years. I mean, nobody knows. Nobody has a crystal ball, but I think it's going to make probably the whole workflow more efficient, because right now we have so many unnecessary steps. For example, when you want to, for example, transfer your data from an old mesh to a new mesh, for example, if you're using some scan data that you want to transfer, for example, to MetaHuman, you have to do some just unnecessary stuff that it's just nobody enjoys. It's something that you have to do. Maybe AI helps to make it more efficient. You just click a button and it just gives you the data. But I can't see in the near future to imagine that it can just completely replace experienced artists. That's my humble opinion. But at the same time, I don't really I'm not a fan of this trend that some artists are following, that they have this logo of crossing the AI. Don't use AI, don't go anywhere near. I'm not really a fan of that. I think you have to use it to understand that it's not as scary as you read on Twitter or LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'll purely because I've been a part of, like, I worked on a movie at the start of this year actually, and all the concept art was done with AI, and there were people driving the creative direction through AI, and it was probably one of the more frustrating contracts I've ever been a part of. So I think, even just firsthand experience of the way that it's sort of rudimentarily being put into workflows. I think you're 100% right in AI is going to be really good at doing a lot of the heavy lifting for redundant tasks and pipeline tools. I think that's where it's going to be most efficient for us. And I think, jumping into taking creative roles, like where people are like even like the Studio Ghibli stuff that you've been seeing on Instagram, and then people turn themselves into figurines and things like that. Like it's a bit of fun, but that's not a realistic. I don't think that's a realistic, takeover of jobs at the moment. And you're probably right as far as the pipeline being the best thing for everyone, and probably the best use of the people who are driving AI stuff. Like it's going to be one of the best uses of it for sure. Rana, do you have anything on where you think AI is going to be heading in the future?
Yeah, I think that AI is using the data set of existing art, like for example, for concept art and all, it uses the data set of existing art that is available on the internet and all, right? Creative boundaries are very small, like I don't think it's gonna make something groundbreaking looking and all. But however, I think that AI is very useful for, let's say, for example, that do you know that there's a I don't know, it's plugin or the Cascadeur uses AI from one pose to another pose to just do in betweens for the animation.
Oh yeah. I haven't used it. Yeah.
So you have this. Yeah, so you have this, and then the animator always have this kind of assistant that does this process that unnecessary for basically how to do this, and then they will stylize it according to the character. I think this is kind of helpful for if the artist uses this.
Thanks for the chat, guys. I don't want to take up too much of your day, but it's really nice to meet you, Hadi, and then Rana. Thanks for setting up the call and everything as well. Hopefully it won't be the last time I talk to you guys. If you don't already follow Hadi or Rana, Hadi, what's your Instagram or any of the handles of people that can find you?
Yeah, my Instagram is hadikarimi.portraits. You can also find my website, hadikarimi.com, and then I have my socials.
I'll put everything in the description as well, but yours, Rana, I'll throw it in too.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Instead of just saying it, because people are going to be... No worries. Thanks again, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.